Okay, yeah, so we got a couple of different updates. Yesterday was kind of wild, man. I don't know if you saw this, but there were some leaks that came out that suggested a hard date for filming the Rey movie, and that they were going to go right into filming the Rey movie, I think in like March or something. Let me pull up the actual details here. And then later on, that got debunked because the script isn't anywhere near ready. So I was like, oh, okay. When I first heard that they were just running with it, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe Steve Knight, turned in a draft that just crushed it, and they were like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like, it's so perfect. Holy shit. And they just kind of win it from there. Yeah, not the case. Not the case at all. So I don't know. Maybe they'll be filming by summer. Okay, yeah. So this came from Star Wars Newsnet. They said the rumor that production on the Daisy Ridley-led Star Wars film is set to begin April 2024 is incorrect. According to a source we contacted, the script is reportedly not ready yet. And due to the delays caused by the strike, we don't expect filming to start before the summer. Okay, let's just kind of TLDR what's going on with this Rey movie here, because they're making it, they're doing it. The Rey movie was first conceived as a movie that was going to be written by Damon Lindelof, who's a big name, somewhat controversial writer, but a solid writer who's been attached to some incredible television. Damon Lindelof reportedly was going to tell a story about Rey where the character was in her 70s, so something like 50 years of time passing since The Rise of Skywalker to Damon Lindelof's movie. Daisy Ridley was not even going to be in Lindelof's movie, and instead an older actress in her 60s or 70s was going to be cast to be Rey. And then, all while that was being written, probably at the tail end of it being written, Kathy takes a lunch with Daisy Ridley. I believe a lot of press has been talking about this. I believe it was in January. Here's a quote from Daisy Ridley. Let's go over this just so we really know what this means. I will tell you, Steve, when I saw you in Park City, I had not been approached. I was asked, not by you, but I was asked something when I was there. Strangely, people were asking me stuff like, no, I'm not doing another one. And it all happened after I came back. It was such a nice reception. I was shitting myself before I went on stage. Well, that's always good. You want to get that out. Because no one knew I was going to do that. No one knew I was going to celebration, bar like Kathy. And there were a couple of people, so I was nervous. Oh my God, such a wonderful reception. I'm very excited. The story is really cool. I'm waiting to read the script because obviously I don't have any updates. It's not what I expected, but I'm very excited. So this was as Lindelof was like finishing up his script and turning it in. It seems like all while Lindelof is developing this film, and also apparently Dave Filoni was involved in the writer's room for this movie, and it had been going on for like a year. All while that was happening, Kathy just takes a meeting with Daisy Ridley. Daisy agrees to come back, and then Kathy fires Lindelof. And this was like a couple of weeks before Celebration. And then they get Steve Knight. And, Steve Knight is the Peaky Blinders guy, but look, a lot of his movies are not great, guys. Like, he's not a prolific screenwriter in any sense. I'm sorry, just not an inspiring pick whatsoever. And Sharmeen Obed-Chinoy, who directed a few episodes of Miss Marvel and made a feminist activist documentary, which in all rights is probably dope and probably actually speaks to some really important shit because it's like an actual documentary or whatnot. But that's like her background. There was some news that came out that Lindelof himself was a little pissed that somebody as low profile as Sharmeen was going to helm his movie. Lindelof, again, big name, prolific. And there appears to have been some kind of tension over that. Regardless, what's important for us to know as Star Wars fans is, and I've been preaching this for a long time, it's not just that it's a movie about Rey, it's that it's a movie about Rey that they completely fucking changed and abandoned in the beginning of this year, went a completely different way, got way less talented people involved, and now they're throwing it together as they go along. So, Celebration last year, and just we've been hearing out of, a lot of reports about Lucasfilm that they understand they need this movie to be very good, and they're really going to take their time. And look, they're going to tell you every way, shape, and form that they can that the movie is really special. They've been thinking about it for a long time, that a lot's going into it, etc., etc. And that is all horseshit. It is a film that they don't even know what it is. Steve Knight, I don't think has even turned in a draft. Maybe he turned in a first draft. Maybe he got notes. Maybe they're working on it like that. But this is not this like years in the making, thoroughly thought out, great thing. On top of that, it is just like a Rey movie, right? Now, the only possible saving grace here is that Dave Filoni, and perhaps through his new promotion, will steer the movie and perhaps help Steve Knight steer the movie in a really interesting direction to something really cool. But Dave was also helping to develop the Lindelof thing, and Kathy was literally like, no, we're not doing that shit anymore. Can you imagine? Like, can you imagine telling the whole people, like everybody that's involved in the Lindelof thing, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Why? Oh, because Daisy's coming back. Oh, really? Why? Because I like Daisy. Fuck off. Holy shit. Like, oh man. Am I worried? You know, it's not shooting. The script isn't ready. And I felt like it was important to just, again, as best as we understand it, explain why this movie is goobly glob. And I can't wait. Having said that, is it possible that the movie is incredible? Sure. If it's incredible, will I still dog on it? I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I'm feeling pretty fucking toxic if you didn't notice. But I'll give the movie its flowers. You know, if it's good, and I tell you this, Star Wars needs it to be really good. Star Wars needs this thing to be fire, and it's just like a bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it works out for him. You know what I mean? Now, the other thing that happened that was announced yesterday officially was that Andor Season 2 is delayed till 2025. What if Andor Season 2 is almost completely different than Andor Season 1? And I don't just mean it talks about more exciting stuff, but like, what if it has like way more cameos? What if it's less about stupid side stories of simp characters that eat cereal and bullshit like that? What if the show is completely different and more like Ahsoka? And you might say, chat, you might say, that sounds crazy, Josh. That sounds fucking crazy. Why would they won't do that? They made Andor specifically in a certain kind of way, and they were going after a certain kind of audience, and it succeeded in doing so. There's no way they would greenlight a second season, delay it an extra year, and then change the show completely so that it matched up better with what they thought the audience would want. That would be absurd, right? But then I would remind you, they literally did that with The Rise of Skywalker. They literally did that. They made The Last Jedi. They tried to act like they were standing behind that shit, and then they made JJ retcon all the bullshit and give us a goobly glob member berry checklist film that was simply there to try to undo everything that had happened in the movie before it. And they'll never make Rian Johnson's trilogy. They're keeping that motherfucker at arm's length. He just continues to talk about it, and they just continue to say, you know, he's really busy. They literally did it before. And I'm going to laugh my ass off if they do this and they make Andor more like the rest of fucking Star Wars, and a lot of you continue to cheer for it or say that the second season is even better, because you will be making my point for me that first season isn't Star Wars. I can't wait, because I think that's exactly what they're doing. I think they're going to put Emperor, Vader, like they're putting all that shit in there. I think they're going to make it way more Star Wars-y, change the show completely, because at the end of the day, nobody watched Andor. Nobody. This huge hit show, $215 million to create the most unremarkable crap I've ever seen, and they've delayed it again, probably making all sorts of changes. And you know, I say good for them. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what it is. And I can't wait for the, nuanced, positive conversations that will come out from the fandom at around that time. But that's basically your Star Wars updates, guys. Your Star Wars updates are chugging right along with the Rey movie, but it's not ready because we don't know what the story is. Andor Season 2, delayed to 2025, likely being remade to be completely different than Season 1. God, I love being a Star Wars fan in this year of our Lord 2023. What exciting times, huh?